And I'm going to say good morning and welcome to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. I picked out some music to kick us off, and I'm going to start with that this morning as soon as I maneuver my my website here. Let's see, is this the one I want to use? Yeah. We're going to kick off with Eddie Watkins Jr. because he's so upbeat and positive, and I love his stuff. And I'm only going to share, it's not a video, so I'm just going to share the computer sound. So you'll just be hearing his sound. And here we go.
I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday, mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am loved and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let me hear you sing, all is well, all is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. In the Spirit, I am fed by the divine. I am one with all that is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know all is well? Don't it feel good? All is well. Just to know that my soul is free from time. All I got to do is change.
It's jolly.
All is well. You gotta love Eddie. He always tells it like it is. And Rob, I believe you are the practitioner of the day today.
I am exactly that. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
That's a good thing. Okay, and as the song announced, and as the powers that be have declared that Michelle's talk today will be unfolding and expanding, and that can mean a plethora of things, but here's what's top of mind for me in that area. The apparency is that our grand scale existence is subdivided into lifespans. And within the span of one life, the character of each portion of that life is somewhat different from the character of the other portions. For example, our first decade within this lifespan seemed to be a different experience from, it had a different feel from the second decade, our teen years, and that decade was in turn was different from our third decade. Now, I'm in my 8th decade in this body, and consistent with that theme that life is unfolding and expanding, my experience is that this is the best decade yet. Now, how do I judge that? Simple. Because I feel better now than I ever have before. And I believe this is possible for everyone. And here is why I think that. I had my first experience with science of mind philosophy when I was in my late 20s. My life was not feeling good at the time. And I've told this story before. I had no money and no job skills to speak of, no job, no working car, no girlfriend, no self-esteem. And Reverend Terry Cole Whitaker showed me how to meditate and how to do spiritual mind treatment. And in the most amazingly explosive manifestation, I received all that stuff I was lacking in very short order. And with that significant a demonstration, one would think that I would have been a lifelong dyed-in-the-wool devotee of Ernest Holmes. That turned out not to be the case. It was the late 70s, and I had a live-in girlfriend who was amazing in lots of ways, but she was a recovering Jehovah's Witness. And there was no room in her life for any new thought ideas. And I stopped practicing, got away from the way that you and I now think. And I didn't re-achieve that level of certainty and commitment until 2012, 35 years later. Now, given the evidence that I had, how could I have screwed up so badly? Well, to some degree, I think it was human nature and kind of the nature of life. I contend that even though I lucked out and found an answer that worked, at that age, I nonetheless was inclined to live less than a spiritual life. You see, I had noticed back in my 20s that the average age of attendees at most Science of Mind churches was about 60. Why? The average American is 38 years old, and clearly everyone can benefit from what we teach here. So why this discrepancy? Now, I submit, my personal opinion, is this is part of the unfolding and expanding nature of life, and that every segment of life holds magic. Yes, youth contain the magic of young love, that feeling from that era that it had its unique charms, but so does every phase of our life. From where I stand right now, I can summon a direct experience of the joy of God, the peace of God, the love of God. And I could never do that at an earlier age. And I believe this is true of you too. I believe that this is all part of the master design of life. There is absolutely no such thing as being past your prime. And though I'm certainly not trying to quote Kimberly Guilfoyle here, but the best is yet to come. So let us pray. Oh, so it just feels really good to sink into the loveliness of the feeling of spirit all around us, knowing that that which we are is that which is everywhere. And I am declaring for us right now that life is just superb and getting better for every one of us. That however healthy we were 10 seconds ago, we can be healthier right now. However, our social life was yesterday, it can be better now. I'm declaring that however much fun we were having in our livingness last month, it can be better now, just because we say it is and prayer works. And so I am declaring this for everyone. And why? Because better is better. Better is always better, and better is always at our fingertips. It is right there simply for the asking, simply for the declaring. And so I am knowing right now that this service is special. It is magic, and it contains answers for everyone here. Everyone who wants to live just a little bit better, or maybe a lot better, it doesn't matter, because better is better. And so I am saying here that we have that better. We have that better life. We have that more fun. We have that better feeling. And this service is just blessed. It is blessed with the answers. It is blessed with the camaraderie that we have together. It is blessed with the superb music, and we are totally open to it. I say thank you, God. Thank you for what we have. Thank you for what is. I release my word, and together we say,
And
so
so it is. It is. Yay.
eh. And according to tradition, the affirmation for this month: today, my thoughts, feelings, and actions are in alignment with the divine nature of God. I resonate in love, peace, abundance, and joy. I radiate these qualities out into the world, and they demonstrate as my good and the good of all of us. And so it is.
So, yep, just what you were talking about. You know what? We, during the meditation before the service, that's exactly what we did. We drew up the experience and the resonance of joy, and just like you were talking, it was so perfect. Thank you for that. All right, I have some more music, and this is Karen, and she's talking, Karen Drucker, and she is talking about, oops, I'm gonna go to advance. She's talking about that same thing, that same idea that we're the ones we've been waiting for. We're the ones who make the difference. We're the ones who have the responsibility or the ability to respond to whatever life brings. And we're able to influence what that is that gets brought. So here we go. Doing two things at once. I can do it. Here we go.
Be the change that you want to see. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are. I've been feeling like I can't make a difference. I've been feeling like there ain't no use. Feeling tired and a little unconscious. Coming up with every kind of excuse till I realized it's not all up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny to see a world where we are living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are. Yes, we are the ones. We are. No one else gonna make the changes. No savior gonna drop from the sky. Nothing left to do but wake up, 'cause it's really up to you and I to take it one step at a time. Stand together with your hand in mine. Then we will see the world that we've been dreaming about. We need it now. The time is now. There is no doubt. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones
Oh, yes, we are. We are the webs. I love that. It's, really puts the movement, the power right in our hands. So, good morning. Look at all these beautiful people. Hello, Gisela, Atif popped on. Loving seeing everybody this morning. Good morning and welcome to One Heart, One Mind, Center for Spiritual Living. I always have to say that whether you're joining us in real time or replay, you are welcome in this space on this very last Sunday of 2024. Kind of hard to believe almost that that's the truth, but it is. Here we go. So, and it's kind of an interesting time, right? In that week after it's still Hanukkah actually, but in that week after Christmas, we're in that kind of that interesting place, right smack dab in the middle of the transition from one year and moving into the next. And as we've talked about the last couple of weeks, in December, we pause. As the word solstice suggests, solstice literally means standing still. We stand still and we dive deep into that kind of spacious silence that's within us. We connect with the divine presence, we reflect, we forgive, and we bask in the eternal light of the Hanukkah light and the birth of the Christ consciousness within us from the Christmas tradition. We move into that mind of love, the mind of God. And as we consciously move or go within, then we move into this new year, this new year, a new beginning, and ever unfolding and expanding, as today's talk title would suggest. So I ran across something from a very interesting source, from Sunset Magazine of all places, right? Something that seemed oddly spiritual, although, I guess everything's spiritual really. But Sunset Magazine, it's a gardening, cooking, lifestyle magazine. And I read this quote and I went, wow, that is such a great metaphor for exactly where we are right now. And so let's see, I actually did a little handout because sometimes it's nice to share. So let me find it. Here we are. Here's the quote from Sunset. Can y'all see it? Wait a minute. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so the quote is, December is the quietest month in the garden. But just because it looks quiet doesn't mean that nothing's happening. The soil, open to the sky, absorbs the pure rainfall, while microorganisms convert tilled under fodder into usable nutrients for the next crop of plants. The feasting earthworms tunnel along, aerating the soil and preparing it to welcome the seeds and the bare roots to come. This is actually perfect. This is exactly what we're about this time of year. We're really about just going within, and then the soil is open and ready and preparing, just like the soil of our own consciousness. And we receive the seeds of we plant the seeds of our new intentions for the coming year. In December, we're just quiet. We go within, we digest the experiences that we've encountered throughout the entire previous year. And we use them, all of them, as fodder, as the quote would say, for new opportunities and new beginnings. We prepare the soil for what's to come, because consciousness always precedes form. This is kind of my new mantra. I've been using it a lot. Consciousness always precedes form. And January opens the door to what's going to break through the rich soil that we've been preparing in January. In January, the activity of the seed begins to move. January is named after the Roman god Janus, the god of new beginnings and traditions. So it's a fitting name for the gateway, our gateway into 2025. In the Bible, in Acts, it's 1728. I had to look it up. I had no idea where it was. There's a passage that we often use in Science of Mind. Ernest Holmes, our founder, he used it a lot. And it reads, "For in him we live, move, and have our being." And for our purposes this morning, I'd like to focus on the move part. We live, move, and have our being in this divine presence. You know, because we're moving out of December, December's pause, and we're moving into January's new beginnings, the movement of spirit into form, the movement of cause into effect. And after reflecting and integrating all of the wonderful spiritual truths that were offered to us in the stories of the winter holidays, which we've been talking about the last few weeks, after developing kind of our inner trust and faith in the presence of life, you know, after reaching a point of inspired vision and deep conviction, really, what's left to do but to move, to act? You know, and I'm certainly not saying that we ever leave behind the necessity of our daily spiritual practice, of our connection and reflection. You know, the benefits we gain from these daily spiritual practices are infinite. We will always benefit from these. We'll always benefit from "seek ye first the kingdom of God," because as the quote goes, "and all else will be added unto you," when we seek ye first the kingdom of God, and we do that through our spiritual practice. You know, and ultimately, God's all there is. But I think as we get in touch with the truth of our being, the inner light, the Christ consciousness, there comes a time when we have to say, okay, you know, I'm ready. How does spirit want to express itself through me now? You know, it's the nature of God, of life, of you and me to express, you know, to discover, to explore, to act, to continuously unfold and expand, as the talk title would suggest. You know, spirit lives its life through us. You know, it doesn't play hide and seek with us. It's not somewhere off there or far away. We live, move, and have our being in it. We're one. And we stand on that solid rock of spiritual principle. We ground ourselves in faith, and we are called to act, to move with the flow of divine activity, of right consciousness, in a way that serves not only our greater good, but the good of the whole, you know, because my good is always your good. Ernest Holmes said that we must rid ourselves of any thought of inactivity. You know, we're talking about perfect action within the mind of God, which is also our mind. You know, I know spirit is always ready, you know, noticing any opportunity to express itself through me, through us. You know, as I said, we rest in December's connection, and in January, our thoughts and our feelings become the activity within the mind of God, within our mind. You know, here's where spirit moves into action through us. Well, I have a Holmes quote too. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I like this quote. You know, he always puts things so, well, he's not always succinct, but in this particular quote, he is. If I can find, oh, here it is. The mind must conceive before the creative energy can produce. The mind must conceive before the creative energy can produce. We must supply the avenue through which it can work. It is ready and willing. It is its nature to spring into being through our thought and action. We're the avenue through which God moves, according to how we individualize it in our unique way, in our own unique way. And each of us is going to do that differently. You know, many ancient wisdom spiritual traditions have long made the bold claim that our thoughts and our feelings have an effect on the material world. And science of mind makes that same bold claim. And quantum physics has confirmed that this is so. Scientists have discovered that anytime we observe something, we have an effect on what we observe, that the experiment and the experimenter cannot be separated. And as metaphysicians, we know this. We've demonstrated this principle. We do it all the time. Every thought we think, every feeling we feel creates an effect. We've all proved principle in some way or another, and maybe even in ways that we didn't want to prove it. We create a movement within creative law every time we speak. We cause the atoms and cells of our body to respond and to go through certain changes. We not only cause the cells and the atoms of our own body to readjust, but even affect the cells of the bodies of the people we associate with. We are always individualizing the universal. We are always using the creative power of universal mind. And we're always individualizing it at our point of understanding, at our point of knowing, and at the level of our vibrational frequency. And every thought and every feeling has a frequency. Love, peace, wholeness, all vibrate much higher than confusion and fear and all of the things that we think of as the lower vibrations. You know, one of my favorite quotes, I probably say it all too often, is in Holmes' quote, sorry, there is only one mental law in the universe, and where we use it, it becomes our law because we've individualized it. You know, we don't have to look too far to find incredible examples of how this movement in thought and feeling sets law into motion, how it shifts everything in our lives and positively influences others as well. We have a wonderful example of someone who practiced the science of mind philosophy. She was a science of mind minister, and her name is Louise Hay. And I know, I don't even have to tell you who she is. You all know who she is, and you probably know her backstory. I'm just going to give it to you briefly. She had an extremely difficult childhood. Most of it was spent in poverty, abuse, fear. And as she became an adult, that cycle just progressed into even more violence. And really, and I read her story as I was putting this together, really a deep sense of complete unworthiness. And then that was accompanied by deep depression. And her story goes that around 1970s, early 1970s, Louise was living in New York, and her 14-year marriage had ended, and she had just discovered she had cancer. And that is the moment that she found the science of mind philosophy, and things began to change for her immediately. So she said in her bio, she said, something in me said, here is the key to my freedom. You know, and she just dove into her spiritual studies, and she began to realize that there was probably some connection between her cancer and her deep resentment from the abuse that she experienced in her childhood and her early adult years. And I would say really courageously, she took responsibility. She claimed her power and her ability to respond in a new way. Her responsibility changed. She uncovered the deep patterns of her old thinking and feeling, and those old patterns had become who she thought she was. You know, and then as she started practicing the science of mind, she began to transform these old patterns of, you know, they were fear and sadness and pain and anger. And she said that she transformed them through the power of love. And she recalled that she began to give herself these huge daily doses of love. You know, she said it wasn't easy to do because of her childhood and all of the ideas that she already integrated. But after about 6 months of doing these large daily doses of love, she became completely cancer-free. Oh, and we all know her story. She went on to do these incredible things. She did incredible healing work for herself and for so many others. She became this like beacon of hope for so many people during the height of the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and the 90s. You know, she brought groups that were steeped in love and compassion and grace, you know, where before there had only been this sense of fear. She was an agent of transformation. But here's the thing, there was nothing special about her. She was just an ordinary person who did extraordinary things. And when I hear stories like Louise's and other stories that look miraculous, my immediate response is to think, well, that could never happen to me. I could never do that. And then I realized that, of course I can. Louise had no special dispensation from God. Here's what she did. She lived, moved, and had her being in the reality of God. Any of us are capable of doing exactly the same thing and more. I mean, Jesus told us that. He said, I say to you, whoever believes in me will do these works that I do and more, I believe. That's not a very good quote, but you get it. Louise's transformation began with what she called her inner ding. It's that inner wisdom that comes through us, our inner knowing through our unity, our acknowledgement of our unity with the life of God, to live and move and have our being in. She followed up. She followed up with movement. She made a deliberate commitment to move in consciousness. She made a movement in her thoughts and her feelings, which changed who she believed she was, which changed her at the level of her vibrational frequency, which changed her body and changed her entire world. You know, this is the act of moving. Just moving, just doing it is an expression of our faith and our trust in life. It is an expression of our belief, our knowing of our oneness with God. You know, our work in consciousness requires that we do more than just recognize that spiritual truths are spiritual truths. It mandates that we act on our realizations. A spiritual path, a spiritual life isn't passive. We are required to move, to participate, to act. And how do we do this? Well, just like Louise, we decide that we're ready to change and that we're ready to take action. We are ready to take responsibility, to respond anew. You know, and it just begins with the commitment to prove principles, to prove the principles that we profess, we believe in and know. And then it's our commitment. And by commitment, I don't mean just making plans to move things around in the outside world, but a commitment to move in consciousness, to move in thought and feeling into a higher vibrational level of life, to be aware of what we're thinking and feeling. And when we think and feel what we don't want to think and feel, we don't judge ourselves harshly. We recognize it and we gently and compassionately bring ourselves back. We shift. And we do this over and over again until we have an entirely new set point, an entirely new way of thinking and feeling and being. It's a new realization of our identity in God. That's how we move. That's how we participate. And this is the commitment we make to ourselves over and over again. A couple of questions came up for me as I was putting together today's message. First, why? Why does Spirit want to continually move through us? You know, what's in it for God? Well, my thinking is that we're the way that God knows itself. We're the way that God expresses itself into the material world through our very unique incarnation of God. It experiences through us as only we can express it. You know, there's no one else like us. We're the way Spirit breaks into form. And we are the way that Spirit knows itself more fully because of who we are. We're just simply God in form. How we show up, however we show up, we are expressing the magnificence of God. You know, we're not here to see what the world can offer us, although we all want to be comfortable and we can create that world. But the physical world is just an effect. We're here to express the love and the kindness and the compassion and the beauty and the joy of God. We're here to offer God to the world, to bring love into the world in a way that has never been done before. We're here to facilitate the unfolding and the expansion of life. That's why we're here. We've been given this incredible power and this incredible opportunity to bring meaning to life in form, to experience life in a way that serves and uplifts not only us, but the whole of creation. And honestly, I can speak for myself. When I'm tapped in and listening to my inner guidance, I never know how beautiful that love and compassion and kindness and caring can look and how good it can feel. We just don't, we never know what impact our movement will have, our actions will have on the world. But when our intention is to live, move, and have our being in God, we know that all our movements will have some positive impact. Even if we never know what that impact is. As a teacher and a minister, I've had people tell me years after we've had some interaction or some event, how much that interaction meant to them, how it supported them in their lives. And I can't help but wonder if my 4th grade teacher, Miss Higgins, ever knew how much her kindness meant to me. Here I was, a little scared 4th grader in a new school with no friends, and she befriended me. She supported me, she comforted me, she changed my life. And I bet every one of you in the sound of my voice has touched someone in a way that has changed their life. And we have absolutely no idea the impact that we may have made. We're each of us an expression of God's love and grace and joy. And we do that to the degree that we embody these qualities in our own hearts and in our own minds and in our actions, in the way we move in consciousness and the way we move in the world. We've all been angels to someone at some time or another without even realizing it. And the other question that I asked myself as I was preparing today's message is how? How do I consciously participate with the movement of God in the material world? Well, it's spiritual practice. We begin with our spiritual practice. And I've noticed that even our most traditional spiritual practices can take on a new focus and a new energy when I stay open to new ways of embracing them, of unfolding and expanding in the oneness of God within me, when I connect with the divine presence in some fresh new way, even through a practice that I have done hundreds, probably thousands of times. Lately, when I do my daily spiritual practice, and I always do spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, and we all know, if you're familiar with this practice, that the first part of this practice, step 1, is where we recognize God and all the qualities that we want to draw forward from the mind of God, from the infinite field of potential that we dive into. And not only do I identify the qualities now that will support my answered prayer, how do I want to feel, what does that look like, but I practice vibrationally resonated with these qualities. So I resonate with abundance and prosperity. How does it feel to be abundant now? How does it feel to be whole now, loved now, all needs met now? I draw up, and Rob spoke to this earlier in his opening remarks. I draw up the vibrational frequency of my answered prayer now, because we know that consciousness precedes form. And my vibrational frequency, our vibrational frequency, where we resonate in our own consciousness, becomes our experience. We resonate, and then we radiate that frequency into law, and law brings it about. This is movement. This is living, moving, and having our being in God. This is the way we become an avenue of expression for the divine through our own humanity. We don't have to know the mechanics of how this will come about, but we do have to embody, to move in consciousness, to embody the feeling, to embody the vibration of God that we want to be. And then we express and we experience. All we have to do is to be willing to move in consciousness and to become an avenue for expression for what it is we want to experience in the world, to bring to the world. So let's do that. Take a breath. I invite you to resonate at the level of love. And you know, if it helps you to recall a time when you felt deep love, do it. You're feeling it right now. If it helps to recall a time when you were deeply in love with a partner, a sunset, a dog, a cat, anything, recall it. Resonate at that level. Love. The mind of God is love and nothing else. And as that is God, it is you. It is me. And we can let go of anything else. And resonate at the level of love, of peace, of all needs met, of wholeness. Oh, it just feels so good. So I speak my word for and about each and every person on this call, each and every person who is listening, feeling, anyone that is in the vicinity of this vibration. That there's a movement in consciousness of our thinking and feeling and being. We live and move and have our being in the divine mind of God. All needs met. All prayers answered. All there is love. And as we move into that space, into that vibrational frequency, it impresses law, and it has no choice but to express itself into form. That is the law of God. And it is our law right here and right now at the level that we are engaging with it. So I'm just grateful. I am in awe. I am in deep thanksgiving at the opportunity and the power that we are gifted in our oneness with this divine presence and our source. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. Thank you, God, for this empowerment and this feeling tone of love. So I relax in that gratitude. I relax in this knowing. I just let it be. And we signify our agreement together by saying,
And so it is.
and so it is. Boop, boop. All right. Well, that was fun. So I wanted to take and I think I did, take our December pause and light a fire under us to move into action now. So we'll do that. All right, so let's see. Lisa, are you doing the sacred giving? I don't know who is. I gotta tell you. Let's see. Here, I think I can unmute you. Yeah, I just did. Oops, and you remute it. I'll do it again. There we go.
Okay. I think it was you, but I will do it if you
Oh.
wish.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, was it me? I don't know.
What do you want?
Oh, I don't care.
It's your choice.
You can do it, sweetie. I'll let you do it.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So I'm just putting up the ways in which we can give, which we probably all know by now, but I'll put them up anyway. Just for giggles. There we go.
And certainly one thing to think of, and as we talk about action too, in terms of supporting our center. So at any rate, I think we could just go ahead and give.
All right, I'll do that. We'll go to the other slide. Here we go. Yeah, we all probably know at this point.
Yeah, I think we know how to do it. Venmo is really the easiest way, probably.
It is the easiest way, but a lot of people, and there is some
There's also something good about signing.
writing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So here's the
whatever way. Let's say together, everything flows from the nature
From
of
the
God's
nature of
good.
God's good. We
Give
give and
receive from this flow in gratitude and love.
We
We
rest
rest in
the infinite giving nature
nature.
of spirit. And
And
so
so it is.
so it's right. The chorus going on there. It was good. Yeah, so that's wonderful. And as far as announcements goes, we will do our Monday evening prayer group tomorrow. And I want to thank there were only 4 of us on our gathering for the center, but we had a great time. We really did. It was so much fun. Let's see, and I want to say that this Tuesday is New Year's Eve, so we're missing this Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday is my birthday, so we're missing that Tuesday too. And then on the 14th we're going to start a new course that actually Relaine and I have been working on for several months. It's from a book from David Spangler, who was one of the people that started, he was instrumental in starting the Findhorn Garden in Scotland. And he has a wonderful grasp on the law of manifestation and how that works. It's really for him all about the vibration that we've been talking about too. And we took his ideas and then we did a week of talking about the ideas, and then we did a week of application. So we have like spiritual principles that we're going to move into spiritual practice, which is going to be kind of fun, I think. So we're going to do that on the 14th. So we'll have 2 more weeks of nothing on Tuesday, but we'll continue to do our Monday. And then on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at my house, we're having an intention setting candle lighting thing. And that should be fun. So, and if you're in the area, bring a little snack along and we'll do that. And then if not, I'll set up 2 Zoom things so we can get different angles and people can join from afar. So that should be fun too. And I guess that's about it. That's all I got. So I found, we used to sing this all the time. It really reminds me of Al Neville's, but I went searching for some songs that were familiar to us, and I found this song. This is an oldie but goodie. You'll recognize it once you hear it, because he used to love to sing this song. Every time he was the practitioner of the day, we had to do this song at the end of the service. So here it is. I've got to go in here. It's a little bit different version, but pretty good. Here we go.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers. The
tools that we create with our thoughts, our prayers, that spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Richard used to play that all the time. And I hadn't heard it in a long time, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. We got to do that. And it backs up against the words we've spoken today. So I am going to say goodbye to our Facebook people. And I'll log us off of Facebook. Goodbye, Facebook people. And I am going to stop our recording.